Right, back with you here on the Newsfeed PM. Thanks for staying on. Like I said, when we return, we're going to look at how the support of the ANC has fared since, of course, forming a government of national unity. We know that in the previous elections, they would have slipped further in terms of their political dominance and didn't manage to put together a majority. Well, we'll speak now to Dr. Majola and get a sense from him exactly how he thinks the government of national unity would have changed the fate of the ANC. Dr. Mazwe, good to have you, and thank you very much for coming on this afternoon. Of course, there is a sense that the dominance of the ANC has eroded and continues to erode, especially with the dissatisfaction around service delivery. Has the government of national unity managed to change and turn things around in terms of that perception?
Good afternoon, Thabo. I think it will be early days, really, since last year's general elections. The only test or the only thing that we'll see is the by-elections, what has been happening. Yes, the ANC has won certain awards. The DA recently won, I think it's in Randfontein ward, but it was beaten by MKP in one of the wards in eThekwini. With the VAT rate hike has also put the ANC in a very precarious situation, because we've seen that other political or rather opposition, especially DA within the GNU and the Freedom Front, has been vocally criticizing and opposed to the VAT hike. So yeah, there will be those dynamics obviously moving forward in terms of what is happening. But the challenge is that you find organizational political parties, especially within the GNU, you've got to work together, but at the same time, you've got to compete. In other words, it's like, how do you compete while we are cooperating with each other? It's a kind of a dynamic situation, which obviously it's the first one in South Africa. They'll have just to get used to it because they are in government, but at the same time, each and every party servicing each constituency. So there will be those challenges and dynamic within the GNU. How
impactful is the business perception, right? For example, we would, speaking of the VAT issue, right, we know that business, for example, would have written letters both to President Cyril Ramaphosa and to the Democratic Alliance. We are not sure what was contained in those letters, but anecdotally, we believe that business is DA friendly. Now, does that translate into the broader electorate, the fact that business likes Democratic Alliance?
Well, politics is about optics, Thabo. So it's about public opinion. Or public opinion plays a significant role in politics. What people are saying, what are the trends, what's happening there. So it will always influence individuals or people. Business is a major key stakeholder in society. Whatever they say, it will impact politics. Obviously, it depends what they said, how they said it, and whether the government of national unity agree with what the business said. Because the business, obviously, is true. They cannot impose, but indeed, they play a very important role in terms of economic growth and job creation. So the government would listen to business opinions or suggestions.
Public dissatisfaction, you've mentioned the VAT issue, over high levels of poverty and unemployment. And until a government, I suppose, is able to turn that around, I don't see how perceptions in the broader public could change.
A good government or a good A good organization is a listening organization, and it's a learning organization or learning government. You listen what people are saying, and you learn from what people are saying, and you pivot, you change, you show people that we respect you, we are hearing from you. You are the one who put us into these seats to serve you and to service you. As soon as people realize that these people are in government, they really don't listen to us, or they forgot that we are the one who put them there. And that poses a question. So it's very, very critical for a government to take the nation into its confidence and show them that, look, we just want to show you and to let you know and to prove that we are a listening government in whatever you are doing. Of course, yes, we will always communicate with you and tell what, especially the issue of VAT hike, Thabo. Yeah. The government is very important to take the country into its confidence, or even now people do feel that there should be some other alternatives. And really, this is a matter that is going to put ANC in a very, very difficult situation if they don't resolve it, because most of the opposition parties are against it. Yeah. Even the unions, the civil society, everyone's against it. So it's now ANC must prove that really we are a listening and a learning organization.
Who's likely in those formations that you've mentioned going to make a dent on the political dominance of the ANC? You've got its biggest partner in the GNU, the Democratic Alliance, taking it to court to challenge, of course, that fiscal framework. And, of course, they're using that VAT issue as mileage. You've got the EFF also doing the same. You mentioned how, for example, the MK party has fared in particular areas, especially in eThekwini, when it comes to by-election. Is the Democratic Alliance a real threat to the political dominance of the ANC?
I don't think so. I think DA would have really used, if it were, would have used that advantage a long time ago. The only difference now is that DA is part of government. While it's part of government, it must still show its constituency that, look, we've got certain policies, we've got certain traditions that we are following. Therefore, we are not going to abandon you, even though we are in government. It's the same thing that the ANC is doing. You see that because of these tensions that are happening, it's because we are forcing this unity, but at the same time, we need to show those people who voted us, because they voted us for certain policies that we canvassed and we told them. So now we need to let them know and assure them that we have not abandoned those policies. So, I mean, that is very, very tricky and it's very precarious situation within the government of national unity. Those one, I think, who have more opportune time are the ones who are completely in opposition, like your MKP and your EFF, because they are not part of government, they're in opposition. So they can take the government on in whatever it's saying or it's what it's doing, as opposed to those who are in the government of national unity.
Now, let's look at what you've just said. And as you pivot into that, the question is the policies. How important are they in changing, I suppose, that perception that you spoke about a little bit earlier? Because I suppose a party like the ANC is of the view that if we stick to the Land Expropriation Act, for example, stance that we have taken, if we push ahead with the NHI, we push ahead with the Bella Bill, those are the things that will endear us to our constituency and bring back those votes that we could have lost below 50% at least.
Thabo, people down there, the masses, they're interested about bread and butter issues. Any policy that will talk to that, and people will respond positively to you. Now, if DA is saying the transformational policies of the country they are racial based. Will that improve the people's lives? As we're speaking about NHI expropriation bill and so on and so forth, will really bring people bread on top of the people's table. You know, obviously, yes, these policies are important because you've got to form policies in government or in policies in order to implement certain plans. But at the same time, do they talk to people's greatest needs and interest? Earlier on, you spoke about service delivery. That again, you see a lot of this service delivery protest because people feel that, look, we still don't have jobs. We still don't have, we've got potholes, our roads, our infrastructure, there's no water, no electricity, all those things. And people don't care which level of government those things come from, whether it's from national government or from provincial government or from local government. For them, it's government, you know. So that's why it's important for government to work together with all these three different spheres of governments, because people won't say that, no, it was local government, at least our provincial government is doing work. To them, if these things are not there, government is failing them.
Local government elections are around the corner. Previously, you know, we would have said the e-tolls were a big elections issue, and the ANC would have won and lost the government, local government elections on this question of e-tolls. Was it in 2016? How are things looking now? I mean, is the VAT issue going to be a big issue for the electorate in whether or not they put them back into those municipalities?
Absolutely, and I do hear that it seems like the ANC might backtrack. That there are some talks that are happening. Probably ANC has really realized that this thing is going to hit them hard if they continue with VAT. If they are unable to reverse this VAT issue, it's going to definitely be the ANC's Achilles heels. The water issue is still a challenge. Electricity, yes, is better than before, but many other areas where you find that there's still load shedding or load reduction whatsoever. You look at the metros, major metros and municipalities, the issue of potholes, the issue of street lights, and traffic lights, you know, all those things that are still inconveniencing people as they go to work. So those little, they're not little, but those things, they will definitely be a big issue when it comes to local government elections next year. More importantly, the things that are more problematic are the ones that really are closer to people. And these elections are the elections that will be dealing with municipalities, councillors, and all that. So people will be asking, what have you done? Because I've been arguing that South Africans that become very literate now, you know, gone are those days when political parties would just go and manipulate voters there. Now people are not illiterate anymore. They know their rights, they know what is needed from them. So it's going to be a tough call next year in terms of who they are voting, and hopefully different parties will present something to people that will be voted, that can vote, or rather that they can vote for. As I'm saying that is why now we'll see the dynamic within the GNU, because now they're in the government, but they have to go out there and campaign individually and fight within each other while they're working together. So it's going to be a very interesting time.
And why you say that, I think it's probably a difficult question maybe, but let's attempt it. There are those who are looking at the durability of the GNU as a threat to the political dominance of the ANC, in the sense that they don't want this thing to continue. In fact, they think it's a waste of time. Even within the ANC, who did not want the ANC to go into a government of national unity with a democratic alliance. While on the other side, there are those who were for it. How do you see the durability, we are talking of the instability of it now, impacting on how the ANC will perform?
It will definitely affect the ANC, and the ANC will have to work very hard to communicate to its members so that they can understand that this was the right decision they made. However, Thabo, let me argue and say this. In the last elections, ANC, I think, got about 6 million voters. Whereas ANC, if you look at the membership of ANC, those people who are members in good standing or card-carrying members of the ANC, they are less than 2,000, probably less than 2 million, maybe 1 million, 1.5 million, but definitely less than 2 million now, which means about more than 4 million voters, whether the supporters, the public, and the sympathizers of the ANC, they are not the card-carrying members. So it's very important and critically important for them that while they are looking inwardly, in other words, while they are looking into the branches and their membership, but they must not forget that the majority of voters are people who are not the card-carrying members. So it's important for them to serve and to service those people so that those people can come back and vote for them. Because if they're only going to focus and concentrate inwardly, they're going to have problems because we've got so much alternatives now. There's so many other parties that out there, people can go and vote for them.
Dr. Mazwe, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. Governance expert there, Dr. Mazwe Majola, on that analysis on the political dominance of the ANC. Right.